Hello, everybody. Good evening from Le Martinet. Solstice time. We're gonna have a long day, and we had this last few days amazing wind and tornado coming through, chasing the clouds, and now it's a big blue. As you can see, we are enjoying the sun and finish just a level 2 module on journey into listening. It was amazing discovery and unloading new information. So, hope everybody is there or joining slowly. We're just on time. So let's do our habit and cultural way to tune in. So put your palm together, close your eyes, and enter your heart chakra space. It's a place to reach other level of listening. And let's inhale to open the space. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Om Namo Namo Adgure Name Gadgure Name Sadgure Name Siri Gurudeve Name Adgure Name Gadgure Name Sadgure Name Siri Gurudeve Name Adgure Name Gadgure Name Sadgure Name Siri Gurudeve Name. So, welcome to Karta time number 5. We are progressing through the time, and 5 is a symbol of life renewal, constantly renewing itself. So this is also the topic of this month. I think the main focus for me is around ending. The ending is a process. So many of us since 2012 have been through many changes and based on losses. We have lost family members, we have lost friends, old friends, we have lost belief system, congregation, location. So many change where we had to abandon and let go something very dear, very deep, very essential for us. So we think we're ending something and that's the end. But what we can see today is that since 2012 we have ended many things that still need to be finished. We are carrying memories, very, very strong memories of the past, and a sort of a nostalgic feeling about what we have lost, what it was, the great time we had in the past that is creating many bonds that keeps us backwards and we look forward for the future, and we still see we can't access it. We still wonder how can I engage in the new. So what I want you is to make a stop on that so-called end and really dive into that. And I think the 2012 until today and the ending of this year was this 7 years of ending the tsunami, ending the transition period, finishing, completing what we had to let go and face deeply consequence within ourselves, not necessarily outside, because this is a factor. You see the absence, you see the things you are missing, the things that are gone. But what we need is to go inside, inwardly, and to realize ending is not just happening with the time where things are ending, but ending is a process, and we need to invest our consciousness into that. So this is what I wanted to invite you, a journey into ending, and really clean this totally, clean the house from top to bottom, so we will be ready to invest ourselves to construct the new. So for me, the ending process, it is how you process yourself, your ending and your losses. And the first phase is remember how you started, what brought you to the end of something. It's like Buddha was saying, everything that starts has an end. And of course, when we are in the midst of development, we forget how did we start, and we are very busy promoting, developing, in many ways investing a lot of energy, forgetting even where it is going and where we started. And when you reach the day of the end, that intention and energy of consciousness have emptied itself from its energy, you reach the ending process. And it manifests through the loss of very essential aspect of your life. I mean, people, configuration, location, and so on. But the loss in itself is just a sort of evidence that things are changing. But it doesn't mean you have integrated what you needed to integrate for that sequence. So come back to the beginning means meditate and come inside you and remember what has been your intention when this whole story started. Individually, it can be from the last cycle of life, maybe 18 years, 36 years. For collective body, it is the last 2,000 years. So we have overlapping different cycle here, where our genetic and akashic and all the different bodies are triggered to totally transform their vitality, the energy that nourishes them and make them effective is totally changing. And we need to observe that. How did we start? One thing is essential in the sequence. It is not what really happened, what you did or you didn't do, or you could do and you couldn't do, but it's rather what was your intention when you started. This is far away. The memory is often twisted, and we don't exactly remember. So we need to breathe, to meditate, to stop the time, and go in this introspection and to revivid, to bring life again to the memory of what was our feeling when we started and what was our intention, from where did it started. We have basically two levels of intention that are quite in different frequency, almost opposite. Is one intention is rooted in your soul, like you were incarnating here and coming on this land, in this planet Earth, with an intention. That is like intention for life, and definitely every 18 years you readjust, you remember, you're facing how much of that intention are you actually realizing, and how much of that intention have you take aside and forgot or didn't dare to access. On the other hand, you have the intention of your persona that has been following the rules of education and the society and the culture in which you are born and grown and studies. And therefore, there is a strong need to belong and to be recognized or to achieve a certain status so you feel comfortable, at ease, and safe. That is your personality intention in any case, in any situation. It comes back to that. The problem comes when, for the intention of the soul, it comes in conflict with the intention of your personality. It puts you into threat or fear coming up about tomorrow, about a certainty of time. Will I be able to survive? Will I be able to make it, to succeed? Or how my family, my friend, my group of people I work with will perceive me and see me and evaluate me. So it's all this kind of interrogation coming and kind of trigger your soul intention. But now, I repeat, we are at the end of the sequence. So we are not at the beginning. We are now at the end of the sequence, and you look back, how did you start it? So for any one of us, there was definitely both level of intention. One intention, we call it pure. So what is a pure intention? It's an intention rooted in the timeless, in the limitless. It's an intention based on serving, honoring values that are timeless. This is pure intention. And I believe consciously, even though you have to face the karmic situation where energy is not resolved and there are still pendant situations that have not been solved, you may still have access to the soul and find a motivation, inspiration to start in life from honoring values. So you may have not, or you may have forgotten that somewhere in your intention that energy was there. The other intention was you want to do your best, you want to be a good student, you want to be a good contributor to humanity, so you're going to produce stuff and you want to show off and you want to realize things and you want to achieve something that makes sense, no? So this was the whole bargain at the beginning. Part of you were obviously pure, based on your innocence, on your dream somehow. The dream is, when you're touched by the dream in the yoga, we don't call the dreamers like a stage of, smoking some herbs and spacing out. The dream we're talking about is the divine dream that give you a vision that raise your heartbeat and put you into motivation. So that's what I call the dream stage. And every human being is touched by that dream. And one day or another, especially between 1825, he's very touched by the dream and dream how he can dream his life. And of course, when the reality check comes and that you need to put this in motion and anchor this energy of the dream, you're facing many obstacles, resistance, opposition that were absolutely unpredictable before you started. So here we go. We have done a whole long journey, 18, 36 years, maybe more. And we come to this time now of ending of any of this cycle, wherever they are completed or not. Now, in the global evolution of humanity, we all are invited to end something very drastically, very strongly, and have the courage to face that moment and not just abandon things or neglect things or pretend that they didn't exist or that you left it behind, but to face that past at this moment today and rehabilitate your end. You can decide with your awareness of today, with the lesson you may have learned through that sequence. And that is the key thing. You know, we were in training to learn, and we learn every time we can abandon a limitation for the sake of the illimited in us. So that is the loss. We have lost people. We have lost affection in relationship. We have lost friendship. All these are a sort of a sacrifice, an offering. This is the altar where you offer all the energy that was putting you into limitation, to open up for more and to honor your value and to empower yourself. We have been told that we need to please the virtue of what looks like morality and the right thing to do. And we went through 2,000 years, 3,000 years of religious mentality where the faith is projected on values that are intellectualized and therefore cut humanity in the good and the bad people, and everyone end up obviously be one day in the right and one day in the wrong. So that duality game has to end as well with the time we are now. And that is a very deep contradiction that we were carrying through the time, is that we were expecting a spiritual life to generate spiritual communities, and we end up creating a sectorial, sectic congregation of people cutting from each other and denying the others and creating boundaries and imposing a collective way of believing in values where individuals were neglected and not empowered. And therefore, people follow up that trend by renouncing to their self-empowerment to please the group consciousness, to please the general morality and all that stuff. I think today this type of lifestyle is falling apart. You see the new generation spontaneously plugging into their inner heart and passion and having no needs to refer to any outside system or intellectualization of the faith. So here we are, ending something that is hard to end, to let go. So we got that tsunami of events in our life that were unpredictable, and we didn't know where it come from, and we didn't recognize at first that this is for our highest interest. We saw that maybe we were failure, maybe we all misunderstood, maybe we failed in our lowest self, necessity to survive, and we have limited ourselves. But the reality is we have spiritually limited ourselves. We pretended to be spiritual, and it was all mentally projected. Even though you could, after setting up a belief system, open your heart to that belief system and bring the energy into your heart, it doesn't mean that your original intention was pure. And we still have to revise all that stuff. So today is a great day of forgive the way your mind has misled you. Forgive yourself for the misunderstanding and honor yourself for what you could let go for the sake of your values and of your higher self. So ending is a process of connecting to your intention, primary intention, and then bless that intention. Remember, time is a liar. Past does not exist, and future is not yet here. Therefore, today, if you rehabilitate your intention, you can connect with your pure self within your heart, find your true value, and bring them over your intention. It is not covering, it is re-deciding every day. You have the choice to decide who you are every day. And every day you can rewrite the past from your pure intention. So when you connect to your original self within your heart, and you find these key values that carry you from the soul and that make you vibrating and joyful, when you find that place in you, you can bless your past. You can forgive yourself for the misleading action and come back to the pure intention, because the original self was always pure from day one, and nothing can corrupt your original self. So don't allow anybody to disempower you trying to prove you limited, because you are born unlimited and you will go beyond death unlimited. And you need to reassess yourself, not give your power away to belief system, but rather honor your own value and honor your soul. That is one way to come back to your purity and to solve the contradiction between the voice of your higher self and the voice of your lower self. This is one of the key points of the ending process, is dissolve your inner contradiction. When you meditate, it is not to follow mantras or just focus on breath. It is also to sense and feel through all your cells what the body can express. And when I say body, I say your 12 bodies. The totality of yourself is communicating through the body system, the energy body. We receive many messages, and they are contradictory. Messages from the higher self and messages from the functional self. I don't like lower self, actually, because nothing is low. Even your animal's instinct is serving you and carrying you through difficult time. So why would it be low? It's just we need to function in the three-dimensional world, and all the equipment we receive, including the mind, the lower mind, including your emotional body, are absolutely useful, very necessary. And there is nothing wrong when we go through strong emotion waves and go through the yo-yo. Do I know? Do I don't know? I believed it. I doubt this, and all that stuff going on. Just sit down and observe. What you will observe if you take the time, and it takes 11 minutes, it's already a lot. If you sit down just watching the inner communication. To solve contradiction, you first need to observe the communication. That's what Nanak means by listening. Listening is come out of the pressure of time, breathe, relax, contemplate. And you contemplate the inner communication. And you will see, obviously, the contradiction of the needs of the persona and the intention of your soul, of your higher self, wherever they are, which state of development you are in your soul, there will be a voice speaking to you. And there will be, from the condition of your life, of your daily life, another voice talking to you. So you see, when you sit and you observe, you become yourself. Yourself is not your functional personality or dysfunctional. And yourself is not your soul. Yourself is the one who decides, the one who takes responsibility to face the time, honoring the values, honoring the timeless values. So, in this ending process, we had this battle of promoting energy and manifesting obstacle resistance. And it went through a whole blend of complicated situation. We call this the drama of life, isn't it? All of us. We turn our life into partly a drama. But remember one thing. If your life today look rather like a drama, it just means you didn't end the process. Because the good news is, when you reach the ending time of the one process of life, it will be a comedy. You will rewrite the story because you will understand where you land, and landing in the understanding of the sequence, you can willingly give up everything you have to abandon from the lesson you learn to expand and grow into your highest frequencies. This is the learning process. Life is for us a process to learn, and the real learning, the real lesson is given at the end, not through the process. When the end is totally acknowledged, integrated, absorbed, accepted, embraced, then you know. Then you know something that 1836 years before you did not know. And it makes you a different being, a human being. You means full of light. It doesn't mean you reach enlightenment, but it just means that you have put some light on some shadows that could not run away and hide anymore. They came in front of your eyes and you could integrate them and let go what you needed to let go and resolve the karma energy. Karma is a beautiful thing. It's an energy dissonant in you that trigger you and push you to go forward through the drama, to turn that drama into a comedy where you can at the end laugh about the process and admire and be in wonder about the realization. So the ending process is a key thing, not to pile up the experience of life and miss the point. There's so many people who just go from experience to experience and never ending the experience. Never take the time to experience the experience and learn by giving up on the altar of your own consciousness. Cut, abandon, let go what was so dear for you for so many years, and feel the expansion, the empowerment of letting go. So, contradiction is resolved when you really enter this ending process, meditate, dive into it, and accept what actually was the meaning of that sequence that you only discover at the end, otherwise you would not even started it. You understand the congruence and the logic of that process is when if we start a sequence, it is because we don't know. And when you end up the sequence, we may miss the lesson to know if we do not properly end the story. End of the story, it is not just factual. It's the process of consciousness. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Take the time, be patient, and give a priority to ending things this month. This is a great time to do that. The light is to the highest potential, highest frequency for the solstice. You can show any of your shadows and see them very crystal clear. And give up what you need to give up. Abandon what you still need to abandon, even if factually people and things are gone, you still need to finish the process. So, what did you abandon that actually boost your heart, energized you, expanded you? What did you have abandoned to dissolve what was the attachment and the limitation? These are essential recognition about yourself, realization about yourself, so you may bless yourself, you may approve yourself, you may realize that you are qualified again after the sequence. We were qualified to start the sequence, and then we disqualified through the sequence, getting lost in the drama and the play of duality and the contradiction. When we sacrifice and offer what was the root of the contradiction, we immediately fall back into oneness. Immediately we join our timeless identity. And this is a beautiful time for that. So, folks, I invite you to practice ending, letting go from your consciousness, abandon from your emotional self, from the mental self, all what was bounding you to the past. Of course, when you really go to the altar and really give up your head and everything, judgment and morality, comparison and all that stuff, and find back your original self and original purity, you will find your house pretty much broken down, and you will even find that the foundation have been shaken. So what you can consider now is what are the foundation bricks that remain that you can still gather, clean, take out of the earthquake house, broken things, and just take this material to rebuild the new. Because nothing from the old will remain, and only the good values, good values is limitless values that you can pull out of that experience will be the base of your new foundation. So it is very important to let fall apart the whole thing that was built on duality and contradiction until you find the aggregate, the basic material that were still there, pure and intact, not being, because they were also there in the foundation. You can take them back and gather them to prepare the renewal of yourself. So this is happening on different levels, on the level of self, individual self, but also on the level of group consciousness and planetary consciousness. We're all letting go, even the social network, even the social weaving, the structure of society is crumbling down as a global humanity. And we see this in 4 corners of the planet. So don't worry, it is part of the wave of this tsunami. And as much as individuals do the work of ending, it will allow the masses to realize pages turn, we can't go back, let's look forward to initiate the new. So the period we're going through is this ending process is eating us from multidimensional frequencies. As I say, all our bodies are triggers by that ending process. So it's as much in our genetics and Akashic DNA that things are shaking, and it affects your physical body, your emotional body, your mental bodies, but it will also shake the upper body and your higher self as well. So we are concerned by our totality, and the totality is shaking. That's why I call it a tsunami wave that moved the paradigm, and now time to end that, to properly realize what is left after the tsunami. What is the only pure gem we can keep to reinvest in the new and drop everything unnecessary. And that is the ending process. So it is overwhelming, and many of you will have that feeling that it's coming from all direction, from all dimension, and you don't know within one day what can you solve in one day. And I was going through that test maybe a little bit before many of you, but I know today, and in the next few months, it's not only 1 month, in the next, like until the end of the year, this is thousands and thousands of people who are gonna break from their foundation, gonna break away from their lifestyle and way they were entangled in the social weaving, to take themselves out and to be free to initiate something new that they don't even can imagine, which is a good thing. We don't have to imagine the future. It is coming to us. It will be collective, so don't worry. We will learn how to rehabilitate the divine dream within our intuition, and will be guided again, because this is a capacity we all have. We just dropped it because the basic wisdom was not necessary until now, and today is coming back. Today we need to plug on that initial universal wisdom of the Buddhi, of the Akashic, that was always there for us. We just pretended we were searching, understanding, so we did not need to access intuition and wisdom in a conscious way. So this is completely changing now, and this is going to happen in the next 6 months, that massively, not only individually, but massively, we're going to move paradigm. We're going to change the foundation of our life. And many will find the courage to say, I, I give away, I let go all the attachment, all the old structure. I don't really know where I'm going, but I'm going. So I meet a lot of these people all over the planet, and it's really rejoicing and re-empowering your heart to realize that it is happening. There is a general awakening, and it is overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. You know what? That's why we have yoga. In 40 years ago, we thought, oh, it's a good kick. We can get a good high and can enjoy that high and try to transfer how to access that. Today is just a simple practice of 11 minutes or 20 minutes will totally make you accurate with the time, and you can face your day in a very different way. And it's almost becoming a necessity to practice contemplation and meditation. So maybe I give you that practical tool. What I would advise you, if you feel overwhelmed, if your heart is resonating with all what I just say now, that you are in the middle of an ending process, that you thought things are gone but they are not totally gone, and your attachment, your memories, your longing, your need to belong, that is triggering you to go in the past, that if you resonate to that, is a very good time now to have a very strong daily practice. But it's not about, exercising forcefully. That's not what I would advise you. I would advise 5 key points. First, it's not a key point. First is one realization is our higher self is at reach now. It is not something far in the cloud, up there in the sky. It is just sitting, moving your awareness in your limitless consciousness. Just sit with that. I am not limited. I am not limited. Sit with that, create the feeling, call back yourself that is unlimited. By repeating that mantra, by creating the intention, you will feel in the sensory system inside you the sensation of joy, a sensation of expansion, and the sensation of sitting on the place where everything is possible. Try it, it works. So your higher self that we thought this is for masters and spiritual people and higher self is with everybody. You just need to sit, calm down, breathe, and focus on that feeling and generate that feeling in you. I am timeless. I am limitless. And just enter that meditation. You will see the wave. You will see what it brings you. You will realize that stage of limitless, which is not just for the masters. Anyone can access that. So that's what I mean by meditate. Take 11 minutes, sit down, call on your higher self, call on the other frequency of yourself by repeating this mantra, I am timeless. I am beyond limits. I am beyond time. Yeah, you understand? Just practice that with the eyes closed. You put your hands in Gyan Mudra means I understand what I'm saying. Gyani means is the one who understands without explanation. And you put these 2 Gyan Mudra, the right hand in the left on the lap, palm facing up. Just relax shoulder, spine straight, and then you meditate like this. You need 11 minutes, but very, very precisely, very accurately, and totally immerse yourself in your timeless self. And when you create that, you generate that, and you experience that, After 11 minutes or 22 minutes, if you have more time and you are more used to practice meditation, you come out of that meditation stage and you will take your diary book, a blank book with a pencil, and you put your pen on that book and you start writing what your timeless self is telling you. And you will ask him, how can I adjust to the time? How can I face what I need to abandon? Guide me, let me know. And you will see it start writing. It's like automatic writing. Your higher self will write on your blank page something absolutely accurate for you, specifically for you, and at the same time, universal. So do that new diary for yourself for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, let it write. Every time you stop, come back to the last few words or the last sentence and rewrite it until it starts again. And if you do this regularly, all of a sudden you will feel the flow is coming and it is talking to you. Your higher self can speak to you and you can see it written in front of your eyes. You can do that for yourself. It's amazing. You will be surprised when I tell you this right now. I know there's a lot of, oh, what does he speak now? What it is about? I cannot do that. I'm not capable. Yeah, you will be capable. You will qualify. And I know anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. You don't need to be a psychic or whatever. So you initiate that inner communication, right? And your higher self start to have a voice for you, speaking to you, to the other one. First point, meditation. Second is your diary where you write that communication. The third point is very nourishing. You need to nourish your true self by just contemplating the nature. I think this is why I always choose to live in the forest. Since I start my life, I had that perspective that I want to be in the green, I want to be in the midst of the forest, and this is where you see me today. If you don't have that blessing to live in the nature, if you are in the city, you can bring the nature within your house with just few plants, few living flowers that you have there, and then just with even one flower that you can contemplate and enter in resonance with the expression of beauty, the nourishing beauty of the natural law that is expressed constantly by the nature. So every single piece of nature that can be just one single plant or a whole forest or a park or wherever you find a corner of nature somewhere, go every day. Go every day. Resource yourself with that and let the nature come back into you and let your nature merge into the natural creation. Our life now is so much away from the natural cycle and the flow of life energy that we forget and we are deprived. So we can recharge ourselves with maybe half an hour is good enough. Just sit and be with the nature. You got the message? Go in the nature. Every day, if you can, it will do a lot of good to you. So what is the third practice? The fourth practice is, so I say, first, what you do first? Meditation. Second, write your diary. Third, go to nature. Fourth, what are you going to do fourth? Create and do something new every day. Do something new every day that you never did before. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but just something very simple that you never tried before and you can try now in the daily routine. in the daily practice, maybe the way you do your bed, maybe the way you eat, maybe the way you cook, maybe the way you walk, maybe the way you speak, or anything, any domain. It doesn't need that you are productive and creating a lot of stuff new. No, I'm saying do every day something new that you honor as something new, consciously created by you, consciously initiated by you, and get used to see that the new is not like, oh, I understand the new forever. No. To understand how the new is coming is by generating new and renewing yourself every day through very small action, very, very small deeds. You got it? That was number 4. Number 5, for any action you decide now to engage yourself, do it only if it brings you joy into your heart. If it triggers this innocent self within you, where you can feel the ananda, the bliss, the joy to engage yourself in that action with all the fiber and all your cells, rejoicing what you are doing and not looking for the ending or for the completion or for the success or for the finish, but for what you are doing now. Invest yourself in the action with joy. So that's the 5th point. You got it? Isn't it amazing? Just 5 new practice. Do it for 1 month. You may keep some for the rest of the year, but meditate every day, at least 11 minutes. It could be 22 minutes, 31 minutes, or for those who are really ancient practitioner and do your 2.5-hour practice, that is kind of extreme. But if you're starting your process, 11 minutes is very good. Then 20 minutes, write what the communication you get inspired by your timeless personality, by your soul, and write it down. Let it speak. Call him, ask him, and ask him how he will show you the way, the value, the priority that you need to now consider. 3, rejoice, renew yourself in the nature. Find an inspiration and vitality in empathy with nature. Do new action every day and do it with joy. I think that's an amazing recipe for you to connect with your highest potential and to match with the necessity of the time that is pretty tough, that you need to abandon so many things coming from so many directions, that the overwhelming of the time will be neutralized and balanced, so you can walk through the day and say, okay, I didn't do half of what I could have done today because I was triggered and suggested to do so many other things. But finally what I did it in consciousness, in full awareness. That was my choice, and what is not done, wait for tomorrow. Doesn't matter. And forgive yourself that you couldn't do everything. And this is all fine, because time is on us. There will be more and more demanding situation, more and more pressure to abandon, transform, give up, sacrifice, bring things on your altar and offer it from your love. And you cannot do this all in one day. So it is the process of ending. This is now, and start doing it. Just don't consider that because you have changed, everything is ended. It is not. You need to process the ending time, and time is now. Okay. So you got the meditation. Meditation, I said, Gyan Mudra in the lap. You close your eyes. I forgot to give you one detail, is that open the mouth and bring the tongue inside and push on the upper palate, like this. So relax the lower jaw and push on the upper palate to stimulate your hypothalamus and eventually the pituitary and the pineal gland. So it will open up the juices, the glandular system, stimulate, open up your intuition, and get more accurate with what you receive. And breathe very, very slow, very deep and slow. So that's the meditation you do for 11 minutes and so on. So I think that was the more consistent message I wanted to share with you, and that's what I'm going through myself. You understand very clearly. I did this job myself. I am in the middle of it right now, and I'm very, very happy to process the ending of this long, long journey. It was like 40 years journey, and share with the humanity this 2,000 years of amazing realization that we need to let go the attachment and just save the greatest thing of it, and be ready for the new that we will be part of. We just end up this level 2 module that was amazingly new when we reoriented the communication into the art of listening and a journey in listening, where we really put ourselves into practically hear the different voices, the higher self, the lower self, and discriminate and be able to see that that communication is actually accessible for anyone. And we could practically train ourselves that the soul can speak and address to the higher self with an invocation, with terms that are very personal, that you can absolutely generate, initiate, and create within yourself, and talk to your higher self. And the other way around, have this higher self empowered and approved by you, by your soul, demanding and asking, talk to me, and having an amazing answer coming from nowhere and telling you, guiding you with an amazing authority. So I guess this is the time where we can access this practice now, and almost we need to access it every day. So I just wanted to share with you this message that our so-called level 2 is becoming a very on-the-go teaching that is descending. The module remain on the same matrix, but the content are evolving in a very deep way, very effective way, and accurately to the time. So therefore, we think that the modules now are not necessarily a linear thing, and it's not necessarily that you have done once and that's it. But every time, if you would come back to some of the modules, you will realize how far and how new is the content adapted to the world and the people of now. So this was one orientation of the school, is that we, as I say last time, we're not teaching content, we are teaching about people and individualization of what the content can do to you, but it's going really beyond that now, that we are on the wave of time and we are plugging into this Akashic inspiration that give us the way to connect and solve what is our actual contradiction. So that's why we have discovered in this module of Journey into Listening, and I think we are really excited to continue. Teaching in this way is exalting because you cannot relax, you cannot sleep, you cannot lean on what you've done before, because 1 year ago and when you look at today, everything you taught last year is obsolete. And we need to totally immerse ourselves in the now and deliver what is coming with an amazing empowerment for the teachers and for the student. Now, this other option, that when you plug in your higher self, you will discover new jobs. And I want to explain. Those of you who have done the journey into the mind with us in this level 2, one of this module is about the mind and the configuration of the archetypes and the permanent principle. When the Buddhi mind and the functional mind merge together, generate a space of consciousness where we have these 8 archetypes of, I would say, functionality in the world based on your higher self. But now, what I just discovered is that there are very specific skills and qualification and talent that are given to each of us from the experience of our soul and previous life. And then we, each of us, come with a very unique talent, but it's not a talent to apply in functionality. It is a talent to apply in connection with your higher self and multiple self. So what I mean is, when your soul is identified to one extension soul that is pretty alone, uh, it doesn't matter the consciousness and the awareness you have about it, you are definitely connected to a group soul. When you expand, when you experience and you sense that you are more than you, that from I you become a we, connected to a soul group, a group soul, then that group soul somehow has more empowerment and access to a sort of a functionality from that frequency within the 3D. So I want to explain a little bit. Mission for souls is never for a soul that is separate from group soul. So when you have access to a soul mission and you realize that actually you have another level of talent. What I mean by that is every one of us has access to one of these sort of spiritual talent, which is like be an intuitive person and visionary. Maybe you have that very unique capacity to access the divine dream and to foresee what is coming through images, through sound, but it's not based on imagination. It's a direct perception. You know, the visionary people, they can see that. You have people who also are sort of a connector. They are intuitively knowing that one soul could get advantage to meet another soul because they have some communality. And then you meet that person that just tell you, just meet with this one or read this book and this guy. And all of a sudden, a whole universe is opening to you. And there are very unique people who can do that. And they do this all their life. Everybody they meet, they just keep on letting people meet each other so they find each other. And I had the chance to meet some of these guys who put me in relationship with people I would have never met if I would not met these guys. You understand? Be a connector. This is a talent that usually we don't recognize, but we may have it. And I want just to stop because there are quite a whole wheel of talent like this that we can discover. But one that we in the school have specifically underlined is the mentor guide. To be a guide, a spiritual guide, is not just to be a teacher. It is not to deliver teachings or even to confront people. It goes much deeper, and it is really this talent to find for the soul an avenue of development and anticipate what that soul actually is grieving for, and to see it very clearly and to see what are the resistance and guide the person in working with her shadows and karmic unresolved energy so she can rejoin her main drive of destiny and fulfill her expansion. So this is the job of a guide. This is not like guiding people, it's a guiding a process where with a full awareness and understanding how we are developing ourselves by dissolving and embracing the shadow self, this dark place in ourselves, and then expanding and empowering ourselves so we can fulfill our destiny and manifest the values and the timeless self within the 3D. So this is what I call a mentor guide, and that is difficult to say, but it's not a training. You understand? You cannot train somebody for that. It's not like lesson and courses. So we invite those people who have a sense for some of this spiritual talent to develop, to come and join us or ask for that, because we are now opening to create a place where people can experience how to develop their skills and talent as a guide, a mentor guide. So one of the best places to start is our course we call Éveil de Soi, which is happening in August. And those teachers who have been teaching for years and feel the limitation of just teaching classes or teaching some of the trainings and would like to expand their skills or realize the other side of their spiritual talent, you can ask and come and join us on this week, but not as just a simple student, but a student in revealing or realizing what is your talent as a guide mentor. So that's what I wanted to say and share with you. So we slowly opening. That's what we call, in the tradition of yoga, we call it Guru Yoga. Is how you manifest the guidance and how first you guide yourself so you may be aware and understand how to process and bring people into a process of self-guidance. That's it. I think for the Karta time 5, time is too short. I could go on for hours. I think I'm just so pleased to hear your feedback and to see the resonance of that initiative that started in January when I decided to start. And I think it's an amazing practice for me. And it's amazing feedback from you. And I think we enrich each other tremendously. And I'm happy to face that responsibility, that if I have had the blessing to touch some of you, that to inspire some of you, I don't want to drop you in the wild, but I want to be with you, and that you can see we are on the same road together, walking the mountain up again, and we are side by side, and we'll make it. Supporting each other, inspiring each other, keeping up with our pure intention. I love you all. Bless you all. You will see our date of the next Karta time, end of July and so on. They will be on our website. And next big thing is our immersion week coming in July. So bless you all for your journey. Bless you all for this summer, those who are going into vacation or transformation, abandoning so many things. So all the courage. We are all there. We are all together. Love you. Inhale deep. Close the space. May the peace of mind and heart be with you. May you bring that peace of heart into your surrounding. May the people you live with manifest harmony and kindness together. Satnam. 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 Bless you.